Good day. Let's take a look at your Fasciola species. Under this, we'll take a look at your Fasciola hepatica and Fasciola gigantica. Okay. Yes, your Fasciola hepatica, this one is the first trematode to be described, and this is the first for which the entire life cycle was defined. Okay, for your Fasciola hepatica. Okay, and so this one is otherwise known, or the common name of your Fasciola hepatica is sheep liver fluke or temperate liver fluke. And yes, it causes sheep liver rot. Okay, the habitat of your Fasciola hepatica is your biliary duct or passages of the liver. And the first intermediate host is your snail. Okay, and so for your Fasciola. Okay, and so snails of the genus Limnaea, Galba, Fussaria, and Pseudosucine. Okay, as for the second intermediate host, you have your plants or vegetation. You have, of course, there your watercress as such. And then for the final host is the sheep. Okay, and so your sheep is the final host of your Fasciola hepatica. And the infective stage is metacercaria, and the mode of transmission is ingestion of the second intermediate host infected with the infective stage metacercaria. Of course, with this ingestion of your watercress or plants or water vegetation that contains your metacercaria. Okay. For your developmental stages, you have the egg. Okay, the egg here is large. The egg of your Fasciola hepatica is large and ellipsoidal, thin-shelled, and it is operculated. It has a distinct operculum, and please note it is unembryonated or unsegmented or immature when passed in the feces. Okay, it is yellowish to light brown in color. And the egg of your Fasciola hepatica resembles your Fasciola gigantica ova and Fasciolopsis busci ova. Okay, and yes, your Fasciola eggs resemble your hen's egg. Okay, as for the dimension or diameter and size, you have 130 to 150 micrometers by 63 to 90 micrometers Fasciola hepatica egg. Okay, this one is an illustration of your Fasciola hepatica ova. Okay, and so please note you have there the operculum. Okay, you have here the operculum and then present inside this. Okay, and so yes, it is a thin shelled. Okay, it is a thin shelled. Okay, inside of course is an unsegmented or undeveloped larva. Okay, and so for your Fasciola hepatica. As for the adult, okay, as for the adult, it is large, broad, and if it has a flat body with a cephalic cone. Again, it has a cephalic cone. Okay, and so with that, since it has a cephalic cone, there is a it possesses a shouldered appearance. Okay, the testes is highly branched and in tandem, and the vitellaria is branched and is found in the lateral and posterior portion. The ovary is branched, and this is located posterior to the uterus and anterior to the testes, and the uterus is short and coiled. Okay, as for the size, it is 30 millimeters in length. I mean, yes, and a width of about 13 millimeters. And please note that your Fasciola hepatica adult can live for more than 10 years. Okay, that is for your Fasciola hepatica. Again, please note that the testes, the vitellaria, the ovary, these ones are utilized uh, to uh, uh, to identify the Fasciola hepatica adult. Of course, aside from this cephalic cone or shouldered appearance of the adult, you can make use of the testes, the vitellaria, and the ovary to determine, okay, this adult of Fasciola hepatica. Okay, and so yes, this one is an illustration of your Fasciola hepatica adult. Okay, and so in this, you have here a shouldered appearance. It has a cephalic cone. Okay, it has a cephalic cone. Of course, it has a shoulder. Okay, and so of course you have here your oral sucker and then your ventral sucker accordingly. As for this one is an image, okay, of yeah, a real image of your fasciola hepatica. Of course, you have here your cephalic cone. This is your cephalic cone, and you have the shoulder accordingly. Okay, and then of course you have the vitellaria, and then your ovary and the testes accordingly. Okay, yes, this one again is another illustration of a fasciola hepatica adult. Okay, moving on. Cycle of your fasciola hepatica. Please note earlier that we said that your adult lays unsegmented or unembryonated ova. Okay, and yes, unembryonated eggs are passed in the stool. Please note that the habitat of your fasciola hepatica is the liver passages. Okay, and so yes, the ova from the liver passages is passed into the intestines, and then from the intestines to your stool accordingly. And yes, since it is unembryonated, it needs to embryonated in fresh water for 2 weeks. Okay, and yes, it will embryonate in water for fresh water for 2 weeks, and then the embryonated eggs release miracidia. Okay, the embryonated eggs release miracidia. Okay, and then the miracidium will invade a suitable snail intermediate host. Please note this is again the first intermediate host for your fasciola hepatica. And yes, you have there your genus Limnaea snails, your genus Galba snails, as such. And inside the first intermediate host, which is snail, the miracidia will develop into sporocyst, and then to rhedia, then to cercaria accordingly. Okay, and so please note that within 4 to 7 weeks, the cercaria are liberated from the snail. Again, within 4 to 7 weeks, the cercaria are liberated from the snail. Okay, your cercaria is released from the intermediate host, and then the cercaria will insist as metacercaria on aquatic vegetation, like your watercress. Again, cercaria will insist as a metacercaria on aquatic vegetation. And please note that this aquatic vegetation serves as the second intermediate host. Okay. Humans ingest contaminated water vegetation. Humans ingest contaminated water vegetation or contaminated watercress. And then the metacercaria exist in the duodenum. What will happen then? Okay, it will exist in the duodenum and then will penetrate through the intestinal wall to the peritoneal cavity. Okay, it will penetrate through the intestinal wall to the peritoneal cavity, and then it will migrate through the liver parenchyma into the biliary ducts. Please note that the fasciola hepatica immature adult wander through the liver parenchyma for up to 9 weeks. Again, the immature adult fasciola hepatica wanders through the liver parenchyma for up to 9 weeks. Okay, and please note that in humans, maturation from the metacercaria to adult flukes usually takes about 3 to 4 months. Again, in humans, maturation from metacercaria into adult flukes usually takes about 3 to 4 months. Okay, again, this one is an illustration of your fasciola life cycle. Okay, and so yes, humans here humans here are accidental host. Your the definitive host of your fasciola hepatica are what you call this ruminants, or you have the sheep, you have your cattles accordingly. Okay, and so unembryonated eggs are passed into the feces. Okay, they are passed into the feces, and then it will embryonate in water, and then the miracidia is released, and then the miracidia will penetrate the snail intermediate host, which is of course your genus Limnaea, Galba, as such. And then it will develop, the miracidium will develop into sporocyst, then to rhedia, then to cercaria, and then after some time the cercaria is released, and then six, your second intermediate host, you have the water vegetation. And then the water vegetation, or the water vegetation like your watercress, is ingested by humans. And of course, it will mature into adult inside the human body. Okay, and yes, it resides in the liver. Okay, as for the pathology and symptoms, okay, and so please note that your fasciola hepatica, okay, and so, or your temperate liver fluke, okay, causes liver rot or fascioliasis. Okay, it causes liver rot or fascioliasis. Okay, please note that the patient's symptoms reflect the phases of the infection as well as the number of parasites present in the host. Okay, and so for this one, let's take a look at your acute phase. During your acute phase, this is the migration or the phase wherein the immature fluke migrates through to the liver. Okay, and so you have abdominal pain, diarrhea, vomiting, hepatomegaly, fever, urticaria, and eosinophilia. Okay, and so for this one. And then you have your chronic phase wherein you have there the presence of your adult flukes already. You have your intermittent biliary obstruction and inflammation. And please note that your fasciole hepatic adult can go to intestinal wall, to the lungs, to the subcutaneous tissue, and to the pharyngeal mucosa. Okay, and so yes, they can. There are ectopic locations of infection in case of fasciola hepatica. Okay, and so aside from that, you have the levels of IgG, IgM, and IgE in the serum are usually elevated. Okay. Recap of your fascioliasis or your sheep liver rot, the individuals infected with fasciola hepatica again experience symptoms caused by again the presence of the adult worm to the biliary duct. Okay, and so you have headache, fever, chills, and pains in the liver area of the body. Okay, and so the pain is probably caused by tissue damage caused by the presence of fasciola hepatica adult. Okay, and eosinophilia again, jaundice, liver tenderness, anemia, and the rest. Okay, and so again, as what we said earlier, biliary obstruction is also or may also be present. Okay, as for the laboratory diagnosis, yes, ova and parasite examination, still your fecalysis, of course, and then antibody detection using your enzyme link immunosorbent assay. Okay, and so aside from that, radiographic techniques and magnetic resonance imaging are used to confirm the presence of fasciola hepatica infection and also utilize as a follow-up. Okay, as what we said earlier, the eggs of fasciola hepatica resemble, or your fasciola eggs resemble hen's egg. Okay, and yes, the eggs of fasciola hepatica uh, are difficult to differentiate or to distinguish between Fasciolopsis busci, Echinostoma elucanum, and Gastrodiscoides hominis, because these eggs of Fasciola hepatica, Fasciolopsis busci, Echinostoma elucanum, and Gastrodiscoides hominis are similar in size and shape. Okay, and so they are similar in size and shape. So probably you can make use of the patient history, okay, uh, to differentiate. Okay, and so the eggs also. You can make use of the patient history to differentiate the eggs. And then you have the treatment for fasciola hepatica, praziquantel. Okay, praziquantel, and then prevention and control, of course, you have public health education. Okay, and so for this one. Moving on to your fasciola gigantica. Your fasciola gigantica is otherwise known as giant liver fluke or tropical liver fluke. Okay, and so yes, this fasciola gigantica is infections are also present in Asia. In your fasciola hepatica, infections are also present in Asia, also in the Philippines. Okay, the habitat of your fasciola gigantica is the biliary passages of the liver. Okay, and so since your fasciola hepatica, fasciola gigantica, or your clonorchis, your opisthorchis, these are flukes that inhabit the liver. Okay, and so the first intermediate host of your fasciola gigantica, you have your snail. Okay, first intermediate host, you have the snail, and then the second intermediate host, you have your plants or vegetation. Still, watercress. Okay, watercress. Okay, mode of transmission, ingestion of the second intermediate host containing the infective metacercaria. Okay, or yes, ingestion of watercress or drinking water from streams containing a floating metacercaria. Okay, for your fasciola gigantica. Okay, and so yes, the egg, again, they are indistinguishable, or the eggs of your Fasciola gigantica are very difficult to differentiate from those of Fasciola hepatica or the eggs of Fasciolopsis busci. But then please note that the egg of your Fasciola gigantica tend to be larger. You have 160 to 190 micrometers by 70 to 90 micrometers. Okay, for your Fasciola gigantica. Okay, the adult of your Fasciola gigantica has a longer cephalic cone and less developed shoulder. Okay, it has a longer cephalic cone and a less developed shoulder. And yes, the adult is almost the same with Fasciola hepatica, but your Fasciola gigantica is larger. Okay, again, your Fasciola hepatica adult worm resembles Fasciola gigantica adult worm resembles Fasciola hepatica but is somewhat more lanceolate. Lanceolate. Okay, and it has a less distinct cephalic, less developed shoulder and a longer cephalic cone. Okay, this one is an illustration. Please note that this, again, so it is, this one is an ova of Fasciola gigantica. Okay, and so ova of Fasciola gigantica. Okay, and then the adult, please note again that it is greater in length or larger than your Fasciola hepatica. It has a cephalic cone. And yes, the reproductive organs are located on the anterior portion of the worm. Okay, and so for your Fasciola gigantica. Okay, as for the life cycle, please note it is the same with Fasciola hepatica. The life cycle is the same with Fasciola hepatica. But then, of course, okay, so for Fasciola gigantica, the snail hosts are aquatic rather than amphibious snails. Okay, and so the snail hosts of Fasciola gigantica are aquatic rather than amphibious snails. Okay, and yes, your humans become infected through ingestion of water plants or watercress which carry the infective metacercaria. Please note also that in the life cycle, Fasciola gigantica, okay, and so this one, your Fasciola gigantica grow more slowly, comparing it with Fasciola hepatica. Fasciola gigantica grow more slowly, comparing it with Fasciola hepatica. And yes, your Fasciola gigantica survive longer at high temperatures, and they are more susceptible to drying. Your Fasciola gigantica are susceptible to drying. Okay, this one again is an illustration of the life cycle of your Fasciola species. Okay, and so the adults reside in the liver, in the what you call this, in the liver, in the passages of the liver. Okay, the eggs are passed in the feces into the small intestine, then to the feces, and then the eggs embryonate, and then so on and so forth. Okay, trans the mode of transmission to humans, of course, is ingestion of the second intermediate host, which are water vegetations containing or infected with the metacercaria. Okay. As for the pathology and symptoms, okay, so you have your yes, the disease again, or the infection is caused by the presence of adult worm in the bile duct. Okay, and so for this one, please note that the pre-patent period between the infection and the presence of adult worms in the bile ducts is 9 to 12 weeks. Okay, and yes, during this time, okay, and so patients may experience fever, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, hepatomegaly, hepatic tenderness, and eosinophilia. Please note also that abscess or tumor-like reactions may be present in the subcutaneous tissues of the liver. Okay, as for the laboratory diagnosis, still stool examination. Okay, stool examination, and then yeah, stool examination demonstrating your eggs. Okay, or demonstration also of parasite by duodenal or biliary drainage. Okay, so DFS, of course, concentration and sedimentation technique. But then flotation is not recommended. Okay, yes. Treatment for Fasciola gigantica, you have biothionol, triclabendazole, and praziquantel. Biothionol, accordingly, is better than praziquantel. And then, of course, prevention and control, thorough cooking of watercress or what plant vegetations. Okay, and then yes, uh, public education still. Okay, and so sorry. Please note that in the laboratory, you have adult flukes at surgery would confirm the diagnosis of Fasciola gigantica. Okay, yes, that's it for your Fasciola species, Fasciola hepatica and Fasciola gigantica. Sige tayo.